We're talking about blasting off with the author of a book called Blast Off, Allison Maslan. But you know, the thing is, how do we blast off without a first step or without a plan? Or, I mean, where do we start? I mean, even if we've got a rocket ship, we got to do some planning, and then something goes wrong with the weather, and we got to replan and do it over again and do and redo. So, Allison, how do you advise our Seeing Beyond listeners and your clients to take that first step? Maybe they've got a career right now, but they want to do something entirely different, like so many of your clients have, like you have, I have. What would you suggest to them?
Well, I tell people, you don't have to jump off a bridge. Let's build a bridge to a new path. And so you can create something on the side. And one of the things that I offer in the book is so much direction. I mean, a lot of times we get motivated and inspired and excited, but then it fizzles out because we don't know what to do with it. In the book, I really help you get a really clear vision on what you would love to do. And then we break it down into really small steps. I call them mini feats. And I have people do just 3 mini feats a day, 10 minutes each. We can all find 10 minutes somewhere. And you can accomplish a lot. I mean, you write 1 page a day and you've got a novel, a pretty thick novel at the end of the year. So, I wrote this book while I had a full-time practice, at night and on the weekends. We're always waiting for the right time, but the right time is not going to happen until we create it ourselves. And that's what I really give you. Again, a step-by-step guide. It gives you structure. It makes it very simple in the book, Blast Off.
You and I were talking about the fact that about 75% of my listeners are women, and the rest of you are those new guys emerging that I love so much out there. So we love having you guys listen to. But, let's face it, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And women do, you and I were talking during the break, women do tend to be caregivers and look at the needs of others first. Not all of us, but many of us do. How do you help a woman to realize it's her turn now?
I would say this is one of the biggest things that I do work with women, and I went through this myself, is to say yes to yourself, which means that you are allowed to say no to other people and circumstances. Really figure out what you want, set boundaries, and start taking care of yourself first, because then what happens when you are alive and you're feeling passionate, people around you are just happier. When I made the changes in my life and I was so much happier and following my passion and doing fun things, my daughter was just a happier person. And, it really has been such an impression on her life. She's 22 now and she's following her passion because I did.
And I've said so many times to people who come to me for suggestions, listen, it's not what you tell your kids, especially when they're teenagers. It's how you live your life that matters. They learn by example, and they may not learn it today or tomorrow, but believe me, in 5 years, 10 years, they will. Do you know that my oldest daughter, when I left my teaching job, left her husband, left my house on the cliff overlooking the ocean, and gave up my cabin on a beautiful, pristine alpine lake, my daughter said to me, Mom, I'm so afraid you're going to end up a bag lady. And I said, Michelle, if you think I'm going to end up a bag lady, you don't know your own mother. It's so important that we provide an example for our kids.
And you did. By doing that, you said, I'm not willing to settle for less.
Right. I'm not happy doing this.
Yeah, I was, at a book signing I was offering the other day, and a woman was saying, well, I can't leave my job. I've got my kids to take care of. And I said, what would you tell your daughter? If she said, Mom, should I do something for the money or should I follow my passion? And she said, well, I would tell her to follow her passion. We're willing to say that to our children, but we're not willing to do that for ourselves. And it's time that, as women, as individuals, that we say, now is the time I'm going to embrace my life fully.
And listen, Allison Maslan and Bonnie Coleen are not airy-fairy. We are used to providing not only for ourselves, but for our children, and in my case, partly for my grandchildren. It's not like we're telling you to jump off the cliff without any kind of a parachute. It's about having some foundational work, having some passion, and perhaps having some coaching, because I say you don't have to do it, no matter what it is, alone.